Republicans coming in. Republicans now in the foyer. Republicans down the floor.
Well, second hearing, third witness who has no firsthand knowledge of the subject that is supposed to be the focus of this entire inquiry, third witness who never talked to the president, third witness who never spoke with Chief of Staff Mulvaney, third witness who was not on the call, third witness who wasn't even, as I said, in Ukraine when the relevant, during the relevant time frame. Wasn't even there when President Zelensky left before he was even inaugurated as the new president. So again, 4 facts, I say this every time, but it's the truth. 4 facts have never changed, will never change. We got the call transcript. There was no conditionality or linkage on the call between an investigation and security assistance. We have the 2 individuals on the call who both said that there was no pressure, no linkage. We know that the Ukrainians didn't even know aid was withheld or on hold at the time of the call. And most importantly, the Ukrainians, specifically President Zelensky, never took any official action to get the aid released. And so those facts never change and will never change. I want to let Ms. Stefanik say a word and then we'll take the question.
Sure. So this was day 2 of an abject failure of Adam Schiff and his regime of secrecy. As we saw today, he is making up the rules as he goes. He did not let Republicans put forth any unanimous consents. He did not let us control our own time, Republican members' time. I think I was interrupted about 6 times throughout the hearing. So this is just more of the ridiculous abuse of power that we're seeing from Adam Schiff. I think one of the most important facts that came across today, Ambassador Yovanovitch testified that the president can appoint ambassadors at will. That is important. The president has a right to pick who his or her ambassadors are. And then in my line of questioning, I just wanted to highlight the Obama State Department was so concerned about conflicts of interest with Hunter Biden sitting on Burisma's board that the Obama State Department, that was the first instance where Ambassador Yovanovitch had ever heard the word Burisma. That's an important fact to note for all of the viewers here today. So we're going to continue asking about Hunter Biden's role on Burisma on behalf of the millions of Americans who want to know the answer to that question. And then on the whistleblower, it is important to note that Adam Schiff, and I listed all of the instances of this, Adam Schiff initially in September said he was adamant about hearing from the whistleblower, and it only changed when it became clear that there was coordination between Democratic staff and the whistleblower before the whistleblower complaint was issued.
Let me just do 2 other real quick things. First, I thought we were in the public stage of this so-called impeachment inquiry, but yet here in just a few minutes, we're going back to the bunker in the basement of the Capitol for another deposition that the American people won't get to see. What they also haven't seen yet are 4 transcripts of people who've already been deposed, which means under House rules, we cannot use that testimony in these proceedings. We would like to use parts of the testimony from Mr. Morrison as an example in the open hearings, but we're prohibited under House rules from doing that. So a great question for you all to ask Mr. Schiff is, when is he going to release those transcripts so we can actually use that information in the public hearings?
Mr. Jordan, once the president sent his tweet, didn't that completely undercut anything you were trying to do in the hearing today?
Chad, we're not here to talk about tweets. We're here to talk about impeachable offenses. Chad, let me answer your question. These hearings are not about tweets. They are about impeachment of the President of the United States. This is a constitutional matter. You can disagree or dislike the tweet, but we are here to talk about impeachment, and nothing in that room today and nothing in that room earlier this week, nothing rises to the level of impeachable offenses. This is wishful political thinking by the Democrats. This is not the first or last tweet that they're going to complain about, but we are talking about impeachment, and there is not a single fact that is impeachable in terms of this president.
Was that tweet intimidating? Would you consider it intimidating?
No, the witness was able to answer questions. As you saw, the only people that were limited from asking questions were Republican members because we were muzzled by Adam Schiff.
So, Congresswoman, you agree with the tweet? Earlier today you said you didn't agree with it.
I said I disagree with the tone of the tweet. But again, when we're talking about impeachment, we are talking about impeachable offenses. You can disagree or agree with the tweet. I happen to disagree with the tweet. But again, as we know, the Democrats want to continue making this a political food fight. They are going about this in a partisan way. This is a very serious matter when we're talking about impeachment. This is a constitutional matter. It's not about tweets.
Congressman,
Congressman, do you agree with the
president's decision to recall Ambassador Yovanovitch based on what you learned today?
I agree with Ambassador Yovanovitch's testimony where she said she thinks it is good policy that the President of the United States can determine who serves as their ambassadors.
But you agree with his decision ultimately?
I agree with the President's ability to pick and choose who his ambassadors are and those that are nominated and voted on by the Senate.
And why
what do you think of the president's decision to recall her?
The president can have whom he wants in diplomatic positions.
Today, do you think that was the right decision?
That's the president's call.
Yeah, but what we do have is we have what President Zelensky, we have a new administration in Ukraine that didn't have the same confidence in this ambassador, and so isn't it appropriate with all the foreign service diplomats we have to put someone in with a new regime in the Ukraine that can actually work on the president's behalf or on behalf of the American people?
Why is it appropriate for the president to tap his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, to mount what she testified to was a smear campaign against her? Why is that okay?
The president can have, as I said, the president can have whom he desires doing diplomatic work for the country. There's been all this talk about the irregular channel. I think it's important that folks in the quote irregular channel were Senate confirmed Ambassador Sondland, Senate confirmed Ambassador Volker, and Senate confirmed Secretary Perry. So you all want to make some of the witnesses want to make a big deal about that, and you had the president's lawyer also part of that group. I think presidents are allowed to have whom they want doing the work of the country.
Do you think it was a smear campaign? She said it was a smear campaign. Under oath, she testified it was a smear campaign of false attacks against her. Do you believe her?
Again,
Congressman, Democrats say that the president is intimidating the witness. Is it appropriate for the president to be attacking a witness while she is testifying?
I think.
Well, I don't know that it's. Excuse me. I don't know that it was an attack on the witness. It was really a characterization of her resume. And when you look at this, you guys want him to go in with no attorneys, no witnesses, no Twitter, no anything. You know, at some point you got to say, when is it going to be a fair process? And today was not a fair process in there. It's not going to be a fair process in the bunker that we're about to have to go to. And it was not a fair process when they muzzled the gentlewoman from New York over and over again. It's not fair.
But it's fair to attack. It's fair to attack on policy on Mogadishu.
Do you think it's a fair process for the
Listen,
witness?
the second sentence of that tweet. For example, one example. Adam Schiff never brought this up. The second sentence of that tweet goes back to the July 25th call transcript. And in that, President Zelensky is saying to President Trump that he's concerned that Ambassador Yovanovitch is a, quote, bad ambassador, and that President Zelensky believed that Ambassador Yovanovitch had a loyalty to President Poroshenko. Now, Adam Schiff, when posing the question to Ambassador Yovanovitch to respond to the tweet, never even mentioned that, because this is what Adam Schiff does. When he had the acting director of national intelligence in front of the committee, in his opening statement, he made up a fictitious call transcript of July 25th, because the real one doesn't have the bribery that he wants to allege. So just like that make-believe, what he called parody, instead he created a parody version of the tweet, a partial rendition, where he left that out, and then asked Ambassador Yovanovitch to respond. I think it would have been more responsible if Adam Schiff wants to ask that question, to let Ambassador Yovanovitch read the entire tweet, to digest it, and then respond. And by the way, if you want to talk about what President Trump said to President Zelensky about Ambassador Yovanovitch, why would he cherry pick out, once again, he loves to withhold key facts, that's how he rolls. He withholds information, he outright lies, and he cherry picks leaks. In this case, he took a part of a tweet. So it was the entire approach to it, the fact that they never asked Ambassador Yovanovitch about what President Zelensky said about her, plus not providing her the full information in the tweet. That is how he rolls with all of this. Why is President Trump putting out information and fighting back? It's because Adam Schiff only wants the American public to have 3% of the information and connect dots that aren't actually connected to write the world's greatest parody.
Why didn't you ask him?
Donald Trump, well, I'm not on the House Intelligence Committee. I'm saying this right now. By the way, we have asked Ambassador Yovanovitch, and anyone out there can go back and read her deposition. Because we spent 7, 8, 9 hours, and that's now public, even though Tim Morrison's isn't. But President Trump is right to want to defend himself and ensure that the other 97% of the story gets out there, because Adam Schiff is only going to tell the American public 3%.
Sir, do you still think that the identity of the whistleblower should be known publicly?
Is the impeachment about withholding aid?
Sir, do you still
Is the
think that
is the impeachment about withholding aid? Because that's really what I thought it was all about. And I find it pretty interesting. We heard from somebody who's in the intra-agencies today who recommended that we give Ukraine lethal aid. We heard her say that. She said it even in the previous administration. This is what they wanted, okay? And Congress approved it, okay? This is about providing the aid or not, right? The previous administration, against the intra-agency, against Congress, denied Ukraine lethal aid. This president provided, and for this he's getting impeached. What about the previous president who denied the intra-agency and denied Congress? Thank you.
Is there any way you guys can characterize this as a good day today for Republicans? You said this was an abject failure. I mean,
this is an abject failure for Adam Schiff. Let me be clear. An abject failure for Adam Schiff.
I said I disagree. We're talking about impeachment, not about